And finally, for today's episode, let's turn David Trim for a look at Adventist history.
This week we hear about the publishing ministries in the United States and India.
This week in Adventist history, we focus on publishing ministry. On November 20, 1894, George Hughes, dynamic publishing leader, was born in St. Louis, Missouri. A graduate of Washington Missionary College, George worked as a printer for the Review and Herald, and then in 1921, aged just 27, he and his young family were called to be missionaries in Europe. Here you see George, his wife Rose, and their daughter Crystalline, photographed in 1920. The following year they went to Spain, where George headed the new Adventist printing house in that country, but after a year they moved to Switzerland, where George oversaw the transfer of the Adventist press to France. He and Rose returned to the United States, where George was director of the Washington Missionary College Press for nearly 10 years, before he was called to become manager of the Southern Publishing Association in Tennessee, a post in which he served 11 years until the 1945 General Conference session. He was elected to lead the General Conference Publishing Department. He served in that capacity for a remarkable 21 years, not retiring until the age of 70. George died in March 1982, aged 87. On November 24, 1917, Milton Matteson was ordained in India. Milton and his wife Nora, natives of Texas, had gone to India as missionaries in 1912. Proficient in Hindi and Urdu, Milton provided inspirational leadership to a team of Indian colporteurs who sold Adventist literature door to door. It was as a result of remarkable literature evangelistic success that Milton was ordained in 1917. He and Nora worked for nearly 16 years in India, where their two daughters, Norma and Lois, were born. A colleague wrote of him in 1928, "Brother Matteson works untiringly, canvassing with vernacular literature in the Indian bazaars and preaching in villages and towns alike. Everywhere his Christian friendliness has won for him the love and respect of all." But sadly, that same year, Milton contracted malaria and died in May 1928 at age 42. That was this week in Seventh-day Adventist history.